Another Ants on a Rock video. Welcome to the Ant Corner. My massive multi-species vivarium, episode 7, Magic Stick Insects. I want to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to all my subscribers as well. It really does mean a lot to me, and subscribing to me means I'm enabled to produce more of this content. So if you haven't subscribed, feel free to press that little button right now. I also have other social media that I'm going to put down in the description below. My Discord and my Facebook page, both of them receive exclusive bonus content as well. So make sure you sign up to them to see what's going on there. And on with the episode. Where did they come from? Coming down one day, I saw this on the side of the tank, which is a stick insect. I do have Indian stick insects, but they're in a different room, and this came as quite a bit of a shock. The only thing I could think of at the time was the other night I found a larvae, this thing, crawling about inside the stick insect cage. I thought it was a caterpillar, so I put it into the multi-species tank, just to see how it gets on. If it hatched into a butterfly, then happy days, it can leave the tank through the open roof. But to be honest, I was really unsure as to what it was, and it was acting really weird. So if you recognise it, please do leave me a comment in the section below to let me know what it is. I don't actually think it's a caterpillar now watching the footage back, but I really don't know. It acts kind of weird. Coming down the next day, there was three stick insects. One there, one here, and one on the leaf back here somewhere. In there, if you can see it. So that was a bit of a shock, and it can't have been the larvae. So the only thing I can put it down to is one of the ferns was originally in the stick insect enclosure, but it has been out for about 3 or 4 months, and has also spent 2 months in quarantine between this. There must have been some eggs on it that I hadn't noticed, which have now hatched into stick insects. So this was a bit of a surprise, but not unwelcome, as originally I got the stick insects to go in the multi-species vivarium, but there wasn't as much height as I originally planned, so I avoided this idea. Being small and young, I can probably get away with it. Let me know what you think, whether we should take them out or leave them until they reach a larger mature stage, then take them out and replace them again with some younger ones, as I'm going to have loads of little ones, big ones and all sorts of other ones in my tank upstairs. So I could take these out quite easily, replace them back with the main population and put young ones in as time goes on and they outgrow the tank. Let me know in the comments what you think. Regardless of this, I do plan to add more height to the tank very soon, as we keep getting more and more insects and inhabitants living in the tank. Even some more of the native insects finding their own way in through the open roof. Here's a garden snail from the UK. We also have other insects like ladybugs and flies appearing around the tank, which are native to my area in the UK. Not what I expected in a tropical environment tank like this. I have considered taking them out, but if they wanted to leave, I'm sure they have the ability to. I mean, the ladybug can fly and the snail can go straight through the barrier. So they're living quite happily alongside the millipedes, the beetles, the isopods, the springtails, the crabs, the ants and everything else that's living in the tank that they wouldn't normally meet in the wild. Feeding. Feeding times have become quite interesting to watch in the tank. Placing the ant sugars that I use in the ant towers has brought in all variants of different insects, and the protein brings in even more. The other insects such as the beetles and millipedes will have a go at pretty much all the food as soon as they see the opportunity when the ants leave it alone for 5 seconds. As you can see here, this beetle is not being shy at all, being slightly attacked by the ants before he runs off, but he'll come back soon and have another little try. When the ants are done with this, and during the night time, it will be heaving with other insects. Millipedes and worms and all sorts will come crawling out from underground, and they will devour any carcass left behind. I always place my main food offerings here, and then a few hours later I'll place smaller offerings throughout the tank for the other insects to find whilst the ants are devouring the main offering. I'll also place smaller insects and other things around the pond area for the crabs, making sure to place lots of cucumber in as well to keep them all well hydrated during this hot weather. I've noticed that the snail goes through at least one whole piece of cucumber every night by itself, so that's pretty cool. But again, the ants have started eating cucumber as well now, which I'd never noticed before. I always like to watch the crabs eating as well. They love their waxworms, but they also, being scavengers, eat pretty much anything. Any decaying mosses or matters around the pond and around the tank really, because they do venture out during the night. I've caught them on the other side of the tank quite a few times now, and when the lights go on, they quickly scurry the whole way back towards the pond and get back into their burrows. Still very shy, but as they grow, I'm hoping they come out a bit more often. I've also been making sure to place lots of eggshells about, as most of the insects in here require some form of calcium. Now this was a whole eggshell, and as you can see there's not much left. There is an isopod having some right now. The isopods, millipedes, crabs, and quite a few of the other insects which molt require some form of calcium to reproduce their shells and make them hard. Not having the right calcium and minerals in their diet will basically leave them soft and vulnerable, which is when they die. I say millipedes, but I'm not 100% sure on the millipedes, but I know the others I mentioned do all eat it, but the millipedes tend to eat everything. And as you can see here, there is a hole straight into the ground, which I think one of the millipedes has come out of. And we're going to finish with our Polyrhachis Dives update. Their nest expansion is now climbing up the glass towards new heights, including in quite a bit of the surrounding area, the leaves, the thermometer, and anything in the way. There's also quite a lot of new plant growth in that area, so I'm going to take out some of these new plants which have started sprouting out of the ground, ferns mainly, from the seeds dropping off the main fern plant near the nest. This is mainly just to give me better visual access to what they're up to. As you can see, they are devouring all their foods. There's probably a good couple of hundred Polyrhachis Dives in the nest now, and I know they have absolutely hundreds of brood. I wouldn't want to put a number on it, but the whole back wall is crawling. I absolutely love my Polyrhachis Dives, and I'm really enjoying the way they interact with the other insects and inhabitants of the tank, getting along with them most of the time. And honestly, I can't wait to see them grow more and more, and slowly take over the tank. Of course, like I've said in the past, I am prepared for this. I will let nature run its course, but if I feel it's getting too brutal, I will start to remove the other insects and put them in separate tanks which I already have pre-prepared. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Feel free to press that little subscribe button and the bell icon if you feel like it. And as always, See you again, ant fans.